What's going on, everybody? It's your pal Burrito Johnson coming at you with a video that nobody asked for, and that's okay. I kind of wanted to do this for three things. I'm actually testing out a setup, what I want to talk about, and just what's going on. So, first thing is first, I got a new microphone as I bump into it. I got one of those Elgato Wave 3 or whatever. It replaced my Yeti. I love the Yeti. That has been my go-to mic or any type of conference whenever I'm on a conference or whatever. The Yeti is the one I use. But the problem is it was just too big. That's what she said. It was too massive. It took up a lot of space. I didn't really want to hang a big ass thing, on a boom arm or whatever. So I decided I was looking for something smaller, something that is gonna do just as or close to what the Yeti can do, because the Yeti is a damn fine microphone. The sound quality is unbelievable. My problem with it has always been I bump it all the time, or I bump the table and it picks up everything. So I've always struggled with that over the years. So I looked into the Elgato Wave 3, and so far, pretty good, man. I've done some podcasts. Sounds great. Sitting, not sitting too far from it, and I've done some test videos, and from what it sounds on my end, sounds good. I don't have the full setup. I know if you see a lot of streamers, the kind of funny guys and all that, they all seem to have one of these, but they have the full setup with the shock mount and the pop filter. This has a built-in pop filter, so whatever. You'll eventually, I'll probably buy the whole setup, but this will do for now. Also, the reason I really didn't do too many videos is because I've only had one light bulb in here. I have a fan right above me. I had one light bulb, and it didn't do the job. And I'm still rocking the Logitech C920. It's not a 4K camera or whatever, but you know what? That's what I have. I have to make work with what I have. But I know with you know decent lighting, you can make it look somewhat okay. So what I did is I put in 7 smart light bulbs. Off to the side. Obviously, you can't see. I have a Hue. I basically have a Hue set up in my whole room. I have one right here. I got one back there, right here. I got one behind the monitors. I have one off to the sides. Everything is controlled by the app. So basically, that's giving me some decent lighting. I'm pretty sure I could do better, but this is basically what kind of looks okay in my end. Secondly, I wanted to talk about what's been going on, what I've updated. I've been working from home for the past year. I've been basically bumming around. My uniform for work, call center, that could be done at home. My uniform from work is basically boxers or some type of pajama bottoms. I never go commando ever because this seat is leather and that would hurt. Ay. Yeah. So I got an Alienware back in July. Almost decked out. I didn't do an i9 or whatever. I did an i7 with some 16 gigs of RAM, 2070 Super, and it's been a dream to play on this thing. It runs everything that I've thrown at it at. It's always high to ultra, ray tracing, all that good stuff. But ultimately, I'm a couch guy. I like to play on a big TV. I'm not gonna. Everybody's like, well, why don't you connect your PC to your TV? I'm like, no, I'm not gonna drag a. I'm not gonna try to get it by the TV or whatever. I need it for work, so I can't really mess around with it. You know, it needs to sit where it sits. So I'm not going to be one of those guys that connects their freaking PC to their big ass TVs and try to make that work. I'm pretty sure I could, and I'm pretty sure it would look pretty freaking nice. I should just to test it out. So I did the next best thing. Since I like to play on the couch or on the big TV, eventually I was going to grab one of these, but these were, as you can see or heard, these are notoriously hard to find, and they're all scalp. Basically, it looks like all the scalpers bought these. And if you go on eBay, OfferUp, or whatever, all those other, places, they're being sold for $600-700. I think the cheapest one I found was $600 because I was contemplating. I was like, you know what, whatever, I'll pay, because with taxes and everything, you're paying almost 650. Sorry, 550 out the door. What's an extra $50 to kind of just get it? Have somebody, go meet somebody in a dark alleyway and try to get an Xbox, a Xbox that they bought that definitely didn't fall off the truck. I was at Walmart. I was not, none of that was in my brain. I had put off that I was going to get these, one of these next gen consoles later this year. At some point I'll grab it. Whatever. I have a nice PC, and the Xbox One X is still chugging along just fine. That system is no slouch. Every time I go into Walmart, no matter for whatever reason, I always make my way to electronics. And lo and behold, I saw a lonely Xbox Series X sitting there. I was like, wait a minute. Apparently, I thought they only sold them online. I thought they only you order them online, and that's it. They're not going to ship them to the store. But apparently, this was there. A random one came in, or somebody maybe canceled an online order that it shipped to the store and they canceled it, or something. I don't know, or I don't know what happened. But it was sealed. Nothing had, when I set up everything was fine. Yeah, so brought this home with me. The setup was it was pretty damn painless. It makes you, if you don't have the Xbox app, which I did, so everything was easy. It took a few minutes to set up. Everything is set up on the app. And next thing you know, the system itself is updating because, it makes you connect to a Wi-Fi or whatever, updates, and it's good to go. And that interface is the same thing. The interface hasn't changed, but I guess don't fix what's not broken. I guess controllers the exact same. It feels maybe the grip is a little bit better, and it has one extra button for the share button. They threw in a share button, which I really really dig. I actually got a Xbox, the new Xbox controllers, but I was rocking it on the Xbox One X. That thing was cool. So I had a hard drive, nothing fancy, but a mechanical hard drive connected to the Xbox One X, and I would store all those games. It was a 4 terabyte. Never ran out of space over the 4 or 5 years that I've had it. So I disconnected it from the old Xbox, connected it to this one, and it automatically read it, and it sorted everything that was can be played or is optimized for the Xbox Series X, and what's not, whatever. Cool thing about it is you could just transfer. It does the Series X games do need to be installed onto into the machine for it to play. I guess. So what I did is I copied from the mechanical to the SSD in the Xbox. It took a few minutes. It was actually pretty fast. So for example, the very first game that I tried, because I was just knee deep, and I still am, into Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I played 19 hours of that sucker on the Xbox One X. It ran fine. It was running 4K at 30 frames per second with lower quality and all that, because it has to fit all that high demanding game into a system that is about 4 years old almost. I think even less. I don't even think it's 4 years. Maybe 3, whatever. So I did 19 hours of that, and I was having a good time. I was like, it stuttered here and there, and there was some lag. It kind of struggled to do some stuff. But as soon as I put the disc in after transferring the data to the internal on here. I put the disk in, and a little thing popped up saying, "Hey, you've been upgraded." I was like, "Oh, what does that mean?" In order, basically, smart delivery or whatever they call it is you're basically getting the Series X update, enhanced or whatever, and it was a 50 gig update. So in order for me to take advantage for the game for Valhalla to take advantage of this system, I basically had to install a 50 gig update, which is it's fine, whatever. After it was done, I'll tell you, when playing on the Xbox One X, from time to being thrown into the world, it was I'm not even joking, about 2 minutes, which I didn't mind because I would get up, go to the bathroom, get a drink, whatever. That gave me just enough time to do everything. On the Xbox Series X, it does, when you're booting it up for the first time, it takes about 20-25 seconds for you to load in. And fast traveling on the previous generation took me about a minute. Here, it takes about 10 seconds, sometimes less, depending on how far into the map or whatever. I've noticed the further away, obviously, that you're fast traveling, takes a little longer, but I've never had it take more than 10 seconds. So that's a vast improvement. Everything's fast. Everything looks great. Firing the whole world onto the S Series X for the first time, I'll be the first one to say this blew me away. It was fantastic. It was almost like a whole different game. Ray tracing was turned on. 4K. I went from 30 frames per second to 60 frames per second. So everything was buttery smooth. There's a little, screen tear here and there, little hitches here and there, but for the most part, nothing, that crashed the game. The game hasn't really crashed on me. I've had a couple instances that this system, the system has quick resume or whatever. Every other game that I've played on this system handles quick resume just fine. Where you're able to just kind of close the game no matter what you're doing, and then you could even unplug the system, take it to another room, plug it in, and fire it back up, and then you're able to quick resume that way as well. But for some reason, Valhalla, every time when I do a quick resume, it crashes back to the to the home screen. Or when I do a quick resume and I start running around, it starts freaking out. So so right before I do a quick resume, I always save it. That way I could just load that save back. So that's the only problem I'm having. But again, it's an easy workaround. No quick resume for Valhalla for now, anyways. I'm sure they'll iron that out, or it just maybe the Xbox. Every other game that I've thrown at it has the quick resume has worked just fine and it hasn't crashed. But yeah, games look great on this. There's an obvious difference. There's an obvious difference in resolution. You're basically, and they went all out on this system. SSD, 1 TB on this, and I think the PlayStation 5 has 878 or some random number. And after OS and all that stuff, I think like 800 and something, which is still, it's a decent size, but games are getting bigger. Call of Duty Cold War is easily 156 gigabytes. Good thing about that is that you could actually choose what to install. You could choose to do the campaign alone is about 56 gigabytes on top of the multiplayer, zombies and stuff. If you're just the the type of person that just wants to install multiplayer, you have the option to, and then you're going to be able to just install that. But like myself, I want to go through the campaign. As soon as I'm done with the campaign in Cold War, I'm going to uninstall it because I have the option. That's going to free up some space. Or I could just I can move stuff back and forth between hard drives, So if I need to free up some space, I don't have to delete it, because if I delete it, I'm going to end up having to download that. And, that's just going to be a pain in the butt. Call of Duty Cold War. I've been playing nonstop since release on the Xbox One X. It's okay. It looks pretty good. I got the whatever the one that covered that you're able to, obviously I'm able to play last generation and then able to do this generation. The only thing I was a little confusing about this is that it doesn't do it automatically. So if you throw in Cold War into your Xbox, for me anyways, for me it started playing the PS, yes, the PS4 version, the Xbox One version backwards compatible. I actually played a few matches backwards compatible. So I was basically playing the Xbox One on the Xbox Series X. It wasn't until I found out that is not, it's like buried into the file system where you're having to install the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X version, and that was it required me to do it basically required me to do a 156 gig update. So I basically just left it overnight, done in the morning. In order for me to play, I had to do a 156 gig update. Now, the cool thing about it is that you don't have to keep the Xbox One. Essentially, at the end of the day, when everything's said and done, you're going to end up with two versions of Call of Duty on your hard drive. You're going to have the Xbox One. You're going to have the Xbox Series X version. Now, you don't want that crap. I mean, so you're able to delete the Xbox One version, and then you're going to be able to be. I've been playing the heck out of it. I notice I don't notice a night and day difference on it. It definitely looks a little better. It definitely runs a lot better. But it wasn't like a night and day difference between Valhalla on the Xbox One X going to the Series X. It wasn't like a whoa, but I mean, it definitely loads a lot faster. Like when I played on the Xbox One X, it would take a while for the bottom thing to load. Now it just goes whoop, and then before the screen even loads into the map or the weapon selection, my weapon selection's already popped up while the screen's loading. That doesn't happen. That definitely didn't happen on the previous model. Because they're running off an ancient mechanical drive or whatever. This one is a SSD, and I'm glad they finally figured it out. They should have thrown an SSD into the previous mid generate, at least on the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro. They should have definitely thrown in some SSDs in there. I don't know why they waited until now, but again, I don't have a PS5. Obviously, that's a bitch to find. Eventually, they'll be readily available because there's a lot of games. There's a lot of exclusives. Let's be honest. The PS5, PS4, anyways, has all the best exclusives. And it's just going to continue. And I want to play Miles Morales. I want to go through the Spider-Man edition on the PS5 version all over again. I heard Miles Morales is pretty badass. So I want to check it out. So I'm not a fanboy. I just happen to find this one first. But I mean, the Xbox for me has always notoriously been a streaming service for me. I go back and forth a lot. There'll be times where I'm playing nonstop PlayStation, and I kind of just switch over to my Xbox to stream everything. And there'll be times where I'll be nonstop Xbox, and my PS4 just kind of sit there and collect dust. So that's where I kind of am right now. This thing is awesome, and the cool thing about it is this is a very powerful system. Like, and I can't wait to see what they are going to do with this. It's only going to get better, as they optimize it and all that stuff. As they optimize this for games that come out. Look who it is. This guy is basically takes up one side of the box, and he was supposed to be coming out with the game, or this was supposed to be coming out with the system, but of course, notoriously, this got delayed to for what, a year later this year, and the next year, early whatever. Games are coming out, just may not be as fast as we want. I think the PS5, from what I'm understanding, is the one that kind of truly feels next gen with the controller and the. It's huge. I've seen it. I've seen it up close. It's pretty huge. This one is pretty. It's pretty small. It's actually like a little fridge. And the Xbox, like, don't fix what's broken. Everything's the one key word that I can keep saying about this is familiarity. It's very familiar. Nothing has changed. It's like basically taking. It's like I took The outs, basically, I upgraded my Xbox One X. I upgraded with a new graphics card. I threw in an SSD in there. The insides basically have been replaced, is what I see it as. I basically just upgraded my computer. It's basically what happened, and that's what breaking stuff over here. And basically, that's what it is. Familiarity, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? I mean, I'm not complaining about it. I'm enjoying my time with it. Every game that I throw in it, I'm playing that Immortals, Phoenix Rising, or Phoenix whatever. That looks sweet. There's Cyberpunk that I don't have on the console. I have it on the PC, but I'm curious to try it on the console when they actually release the next gen or current gen update. But yeah, that's just been this has just been kind of me just kind of sitting down, just having a conversation. I know this is kind of long winded, but it's kind of benefit to me to just kind of see how this setup is going. I don't have a super bright. I could make it brighter. I could change the colors. I can make it blue, red, whatever. But I think this I'm gonna fudge around with the setup. But yeah, get it. I'm 5 days in. Haven't had too many problems with it. It's it's quiet. It's really really quiet. Like surprisingly quiet. And that's just how it was with the Xbox One X. You know, playing any game on my PS4 Pro sound like a jet engine, especially towards the end. I mean, I can't even tell you the time where there was. I can't even tell you that where there wasn't a time where it didn't sound like a jet engine. It sounded like that since day one. I mean, towards the end of its lifespan, it was basically The Last of Us sounded like a jet engine when I was playing it. Call it Modern Warfare sounded like a jet engine. Every game that I threw at it or I played was just loud, so loud and so hot that it like melted the freaking paint off my wall. So I kind of had to move it a little further. Yeah, it was my fault. I mean, it wasn't pressed up against the wall, but it was like this far away. It was like, like sounded like a jet engine. From and been I've been in the middle of some matches or waiting to respawn, and I'll go up to the Xbox and it's just kind of humming away. Doesn't get too hot, because the vents are at the top, I think, and there may be some behind it, but at the top, there's not like it's not like, oh my god, I'm heating up. I'm gonna get somebody that I know that has a vape and just or whatever they were doing. It's quiet. It's a quiet, powerful little machine that's just familiar. It's basically like I upgraded it. That's it. I just upgraded internals. Interface looks just the same. Nothing's changed, except now when I boot up games look better. Games run better. Can't wait to get a PS5 so I could test that out. I heard that bad boy is massive, and it can get loud. That thing is huge. Like there's absolutely no reason for it to be that big. But we'll see. All right, guys. Until next time, I'm Burrito Johnson. Hopefully, I can bring some more videos like this. Kind of just chilled back, just hanging out, enjoying my Sunday night before I go back. Go back to the grind tomorrow. I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts on kind of the setup I got going on. I know I'm one of the few people still recording off a webcam, but use what you got. All right, guys. Until next time, this has been Burrito Johnson.